Hello and good evening from Germany. This is Jonathan Quell Higgins III, and I'm streaming live here from Hamburg in Germany. It is a beautiful spring evening, 9 o'clock. I apologize for being a little bit too late. I got stuck in searching for an article that I still haven't found. But yeah, we have to do then without it. So before we go further, I'm gonna post a link, just in case that someone wants to join me on the panel. Tanzil promised to join me a little bit later. I'm not sure when he can make it. But yeah, if anyone else wants to hold my hand in the usual nervousness of those crazy YouTube streams, you're welcome to hop on. Now, I apologize that I haven't done a show yesterday. It was scheduled yesterday, but there was a lot of drama in the dungeon, so I thought it's wise to delay the stream because the number of viewers would have been low. I hope that everybody was looking forward to this particular show, and yeah, without further hesitation, I would like to show you what was going on, and of course, technical issues. Let me bring it up. 1 second. So I was a little bit electrified from this picture that I've seen on my favorite publishing monochrome magazine, and it looked a little bit familiar. So this is a very interesting story, and I would like to talk a little bit more about the VC Vacheron Constantin reference 47101. For some reason, I can memorize that. You all know how bad I am with memorizing reference numbers, but for some reason, I can memorize that pretty well. So this is the Vacheron 47101, and I have a very personal story with this reference and with this watch. You all know that I was working for a high-end jeweler, and I was in charge of building up bringing up a reasonable watch collection for them. And one of their headliners were Vacheron and Breguet. We couldn't get Patek, we couldn't get Rolex, but we could get Vacheron and Breguet. And at this time in the 1990s, Vacheron was almost dead. Their collection was not really great. The 222 was just gone. They then had a follow-up watch which was called the Phidias, which was a dog. It was not selling well. So the only items that I was really fascinated about was their historic line, and my favorite was this manual chronograph, the reference 47101. And in my opinion, this particular reference took off after it received a dial treatment. So at the beginning, this watch was available with a very plain dial. 1 second, I'm trying to find an image to show you all variations. Give me a sec. Where's Patel Philippe when I need him? Okay, so here you can see all the variants of this particular model, and as far as I remember, they started with the ones on the very left. So the yellow gold with a kind of cream dial, and the platinum with a kind of white dial. It was a beautiful watch. It was a beautiful movement, but it was kind of boring with those dials, and it wasn't really a success. Everything changed when they introduced the watch in the lower row, in the middle, That was the platinum with a salmon colored dial. All those dials have been solid gold, and the pink one was an instant hit. I was selling them like crazy. I remember I was actively pushing this reference because I like that combination. Keep in mind that those were the 1990s, where pink dials, salmon dials, were not really fashionable, and it kicked off a new fashion and made some money for us and brought some money for Vacheron. So what was very special about this reference was not only the salmon dial. If you look closer, it had a guilloche dial. So it had a guilloche pattern. That was the first time that I noticed this guilloche pattern. So this is vertically striped with tiny lines that you can only see in a certain angle. And it was a very successful, very exclusive, very unique reference, and I really loved it. Sold plenty of them. Back then I was a Rolex GMT guy. I still had my Rolex GMT while we were not a Rolex AD. I was wearing a couple of watches that were in stock. But one day I decided to order such a watch. Now, working in retail means you're always very short with money. You're not getting really paid a lot, and those watches are certainly not in your range. Good thing is that I was probably the best seller in Germany for Vacheron at that moment, just thanks to this reference. So I was very well known at Vacheron, and I was personally befriended with the CEO of Vacheron Germany, who was the former IWC boss for IWC in Germany. So I knew him very well and for very long. And he brokered a deal for me. Still, the platinum one was too expensive, and I went for the gold one with a black dial that you see here on top, which also had the guilloche pattern, but that was what I could afford. The platinum was like 30% more, and it was a stretch for me to get the yellow gold one. Now the watch arrived. I had great respect for the watch and basically never wore it. I really enjoyed looking at it. It is a beautiful watch, no doubt about. But yellow gold is not my thing, even though with a black dial that I really like. I never got really myself into wearing this particular piece. So at the end of the day, it got stuck for 20 years in my drawer, being more or less unworn. I only had it for an hour or so on the wrist, and then it went back. And then one day I decided that it was time to let her go, and I listed her on Chrono24. This is the ad that I pulled up. One second. That was around 6 years ago. So that was my watch. It developed some patina, some oxidation on the case. You can see that the color is a little bit weird because it tarnished. And yeah, hesitantly, I sold this or I put this watch on for sale because basically I didn't really wear her. Now, the market was really bad for those watches back in the days. I was offering it pretty cheap. I think my asking price was like 15,000 euros, which is 16,000 US, keeping in mind that those with the normal dials were much cheaper. But I knew that the black dial was something special, something very unique. But like I said, 6 years ago, nobody really wanted this watch, and I had it listed for almost a year, and I had some tire kickers who thought that they could put ridiculous amounts, lowball me. But at the end of the day, I didn't finish a deal. Now, one day somebody offered me a reasonable amount of money for the watch, and I sold it, and that was a guy from Singapore. Now, what I found later out is that he's quite a celebrity in Singapore, and he bought this watch for his wife. I know that he bought another one with a black dial later for himself, and he was very enthusiastic. He wanted to know everything about this watch, and he was very keen in the story. I provided him with the original invoice, with all documentation that I had. By the way, that is the original strap, because I usually remove the original strap and put them my own strap on a watch. So I'm not having only a full box or full set. I'm even having the original strap, leather strap, with my watches that I'm selling. And you can see here that I even had a beautiful leather box back then. Vacheron were really trying hard to sell their watches, so they put some effort. Beautiful, soft Napa leather watch box with a certificate. You can see the case back sticker still stuck on. So I sold the watch. I knew that he was very excited, and one day he told me that his plan is to restore the watch, to send it to Vacheron and make something special out of it. That is what he told me. Now, yeah, I came up then earlier this week with this story here on monochrome, and I immediately recognized my watch. So apparently the Singapore Watch Club collectors, Singapore Watch Club, they were infected by this particular reference. The members had amassed 15 of those watches over the years, and then they sent them all to Vacheron for a restoration and a modification. And you guys know that modification is always something that I really like. Okay, before I continue the story, let's have a look who is in the chats. Mr. GMT sent his regards earlier. Whole Milk is here. Hello, good to see you. SD43 is here. Guten Abend, friend. Guten Abend to you. Whole Milk, Higgy, did you get a chance to research the Armin Strom gravity equal force? So yes and no. So what I found out about this watch is that it's also a kind of inverted movement. I couldn't see any picture with the case back. I know that it is a micro rotor automatic watch, and that gravity equal thing is connected to the winding mechanism somehow. But I couldn't find a proper explanation. But I will keep on digging because it interests me. I hope. So from what I was reading is that they're trying to wind up the mainspring in a way that gives a kind of equal force, but it's not a remontoire and it's not a fusée chain. So I'm intrigued, and I hope that I hope that I will find that out. SD43 is talking to Mr. GMT. Not sure what's that about. Gangster Gary is here. SD43, the NW200 is on BBC iPlayer from tomorrow. So not sure what NW200 is, but anyhow. So JL, Super Chat. Hey, Mr. Higgins. When did you start this channel? This Vacheron is no good, doesn't have a blue dial. Yeah. So JL, I think I've sent you invitations for this channel. So I'm just summing up. I haven't heard from Swiss. I made the Swiss and John show. Haven't heard from Swiss for almost a year. But I needed to have the keys to work on YouTube, which I hadn't, and because it didn't make sense to continue without Swiss, I started the new channel, which is called Elite Horology. Tanzil Patel Philip is a big part of it. OC is a part of it, because I was always trying to push the idea of having a channel that reaches out to both camps. And here we are at Elite Horology. We are having 1,500 subscribers. A good soul, I think, bought like 1,000 subscribers. One of our main attractions is a Lux report with a guy called The Narrative, who sums up the events in the Archieverse, and that's basically it. So, SD43, Honda are only taking stickers, apparently. Honda are only taking stickers. I don't know. Stalkers? No idea. Okay, gangster. The stalker. Okay, the stalker seems to be an important thing here. So there is some stalker conversation going on. Whole Milk is asking 47101, is that Lemania based movement? Yes, it is. On the last show we were talking about the Lemania for 2310 movement, which is also the base movement for the Omega 321 movement, for the Omega 321. The Lemania 2310 was used by Vacheron, by Breguet, and by Patek in the 1990s and even earlier, up to the Perpetual Calendars. So a very common high-end base movement. And I love to tell the story that the Swiss manufacturers got lazy, rested on their laurels, didn't feel the need to update or to do something new in terms of chronographs, because this manual chronograph 2310 was the top of the line. By the way, there is another one. Just forgot the name. Okay, this all changed when Lange introduced their datograph with a proper size, with a proper movement, and they were blowing the competition out of the water, and that forced then the Swiss manufacturers that got lazy to put a little bit more effort into their manual chronographs. Crappy just got up having German coffee. I think he's having Jacobs and Schnitzel. Very good. In the morning, Schnitzel, you're braver than me. Joe is saying good evening. Good evening to you. Jose Noventa. Schönen guten Abend. Back to you. Patel Philippe says Mr. GMT was the only interesting person on the Perth Luxury Channel after Perth, of course. That is a little dig on to my side, but that is totally okay. We will discuss that later when you're begging me to do a Lux report again. Lone Star, long time no see. I hope that you're doing well. Good to see you in the comments. Yeah, SD43 you have, and Patek Chris is here. Hello, Patek. Chris, hello to you. Good to see you all. Okay, let me continue with the boring story of the Singapore Watch Club that made that beautiful edition. So I stopped telling you that they collected 15 of those beautiful references over the years, and they sent them all together to Vacheron for restoration and improvement. So modification, you all know that modification is one of my loves, and I can't help myself. And of course, they had to modify a more or less perfect watch. So this is what they did. 1 second, where's the movement? No, the movement is in a different article. Let me check. Technical difficulties. The hype beast. No, it was monochrome, I think. Where you can see the movement. Give me a sec. Okay, back to the monochrome article. So I think the monochrome article shows details of the movement. So what they did is last week or last show, I was talking about that swiveling bridge that connects the central second counter of the chronograph with the running movement. So this gear is from this gear is from the running movement. So this always rotates and then pushes this wheel to rotate permanently. And when the chronograph is engaged, that wheel is swiveled to the central wheel. The connection is made, and then this gear starts to rotate. That's basically what it is. So Singapore Watch Club approached Vacheron and have this beautiful chronograph cock hand engraved with SWC, Singapore Watch Club, and with a beautiful motif, a little bit similar to Lange watches. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely fantastic idea. Usually that is a steel part which is not decorated, and that gives it a very special touch. Now Vacheron being the company that is really careful with their archives, they went into the archive for all 15 watches and revised the archive information now that the watches have been restored and upgraded, and I think that's a very nice touch. Additionally to this engraved chronograph cock, all the chronograph hands received a red tip as a sign of brotherhood. Also, red is a very popular color in Singapore. So also the second hand received a red tip, which can be seen in the other article, I think. So I'm shifting here between those articles. I think Singapore Watch Club had a beautiful picture of it. 1 second. Singapore Watch Club. Okay, here you can see the central second hand with the red tip, which gives a very special touch. Now all watches then came in those upgraded boxes that you can see over here. So it's a Vashon box with a little plaque for the Singapore SWC, Singapore Watch Club members. I think that's a very cool project among friends. I know that that the people have been collecting those watches for years, and I'm very proud to know that one of those two chronographs with a black dial formerly belonged to me, and belonged to me for almost 20 years. So the gangster is saying, "Hey, Dodger, how does it feel to have a more desirable watch collection than Higgy?" That's a very good question. Actually, I hope that that later this week, Dodger will be able to hop on the channel, and I would love to discuss or to talk a little bit about his new acquisition. Gonza Jamie is here. Gonza, Jamie, behave. We have here moderators who are on fire. So yeah, but welcome to you. Good to see you, and I hope that your renovation project in your house is slowly moving forward. Okay, so let's go back to the Vacheron 47101. And I'm pulling up Chrono 24 for you. Yeah, but you're not a super moderator, Jamie. Keep that in mind. So there are people with stronger wrenches than you. Okay, so let's talk about money. So at the end of the day, I sold the watch after 20 years of ownership for double of what I paid. I got 12,000 euros, which is 13,500 US dollars. I've been watching the price for this reference for a very long time, and it tanked around 10,000 euros There was no going up. And of course, like always with those things, when you sell them, then prices are exploding. So I'm just pulling that up, hoping that I have to log in. Okay, can't log in at the moment. So the prices have doubled since I sold the watch. So I have kind of seller's remorse. There is no way around it. So the only one with the black dial at the moment is listed for 40,000 US dollars. Beautiful piece. You never know how prices go. I was frustrated for many years that the prices went nowhere, even though the new watches were waitlisted. But the old reference 36 millimeters didn't move at all. It only moved when I sold mine. Now, so if you're looking for this model, at the moment they're starting at 20,000. Be warned, the normal dial, standard dial, is not really doing the watch any favors, in my opinion. If you're trying to get one, then try to get the one with the guilloche dial. I think that is a game changer for this particular watch. Okay, so that is the sad story of my Vacheron Constantin Historique 47101. Now let's see if anybody else joined here. Jamie has fun with Dodger and with the gangster, I guess. So all good. Okay, so while we are on Chrono 24, I will pull up Audemars Perpetual. Audemars Perpetual, because not sure if it was on this stream, I think it was on Archie Luxury, where a viewer asked me about my opinion, or for my opinion about this one. This is the AP 25657. That is the Perpetual Calendar from Audemars when the Patek 3940 was popular. It was 25 to 30% cheaper. Still a super exclusive, super expensive watch. By comparison, we sold many of them. I didn't sell many Pateks because they were simply too expensive. So when people were looking for a Perpetual Calendar, we sold the AP, very quite popular model. Keep in mind, back then we had basically 3 Perpetual Calendars. We had Patek, we had AP, and then IWC came with the Da Vinci. Then a little bit later, Blancpain came with their Perpetual Calendar in 33 millimeter, and it got then more and more. But if you wanted a Perpetual Calendar wristwatch, you were bound to a very limited number of models. Now, the viewer asked me, how can I explain the lack of recognition of this particular model compared with the Patek Philippe 3940, which sells around 50-60,000 US dollars, and those go around 16. They are totally under or unappreciated. And my explanation for this watch is that it's blunt. If you remove the AP logo at 12 in the center of the moon phase, basically nobody can identify it as an AP. The Patek has a very special Calatrava vibe. This one hasn't. It is a very generic design looking back, and I think that is the only reason why this watch is so underappreciated. However, if you're an AP guy, and if you like a Perpetual Calendar with this beautiful JLC movement that we are all raving about, the Royal Oak Jumbo, the early Nautiluses, everyone had that beautiful JLC 920 movement. I think that is the number. This particular movement is also in that watch. So you get fantastic horology from a high-end manufacturer. The 36 millimeter case looks bigger than the 36 millimeter 3940 in my opinion, because the dial is a little bit bigger. So overall, the entire watch looks a little bit bigger, and you can get them for crazy, insane prices. However, keep in mind, servicing an AP, particularly a perpetual calendar, will never be cheap. One of my favorites is the white gold. They had it in the white gold. Here's the platinum, also gorgeous, with the Tuscany. What is going on here? That must be an auction. Yes, that is an auction, because those Tuscany dials are usually going for insane prices. Now, can we see a platinum here? Have a look here. Those were the 1990s, where Patek was trying to make them more attractive by getting inspiration by the Royal Oak and making those. That is certainly a selected taste, and I think it's two-tone, so white gold and yellow gold. Yes, so it's not steel and yellow gold. Okay, let's have a look if we are able to find the platinum. I know a collected man had a white gold. Here we are. So that is a white gold. The other one was a nicer picture. Here, I think that is the more attractive one of them, but unfortunately also a little bit more expensive. So the question is the upcharge worth it or not? However, now excuse me the long and winded tangent, because I simply wanted to show you something else. Where is it? Did I? No. So yeah, where do we come from with those AP perpetual calendars? And I watched an Archie luxury show where Tanzil was raving about vintage APs, and of course he had to pick up the wrong model again, because the star of the show is the 5516, and that was the article that I was trying to find, because I know that Hodinkee made a beautiful article about this particular reference, 5516. Only 12 of them have been produced over many years. It is a manual perpetual calendar, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful watches out there. And they had a long article about this particular reference. Those 12 watches came in slightly different variations of the dial. It was the second perpetual calendar wristwatch after Patek made theirs, but in my opinion, it's much more beautiful. That is AP at their best. And well deservedly, those watches go for insane amount of monies, because just like I said, only 12 of them have been made. Now you can see here the pointer date. That is a very unique thing back then, and the AP was also the very first one that had the leap year indicator. So the first 5516s didn't have it, and then they had the leap year indicator. And yeah, those were just beautiful. Now let me try to find the auction, because the auction had beautiful images that I would like to share with you. 1 second. Here's the auction. This particular watch sold for 545,000. I think back, when was that? Help me out. That was in 2015. So I don't know how prices will continue, but it's certainly a super cool watch. And this is what I love from AP. Now, can we see? Okay, I go back to the Hodinkee article, because I wanted to show you the condition of this particular watch, where that stamp is so super crisp. Here you see the hallmark is so super crisp, so it's safe to assume that this watch hasn't been polished. It has been worn slightly, but this is such a cool piece, in my opinion. AP at their best. Now that we are talking about auctions, I also wanted to show you another auction. Hands on. Yeah. We were talking about that Monaco Legend auction, and while we are in the Holy Trinity, there's one watch that that had my attention, that I really liked, and that is that Vacheron that finished for 7,800 euros. In my opinion, absolutely beautiful, square, timeless watch with that how do you say, ice blue dial, a kind of barge pattern here on the case, which hides scratches and makes it very timeless in my opinion. Beautiful watch, 8,000 euros. Somebody made a very good deal, got a beautiful watch for many years to come. And yeah, those are the fantastic watches that have been done by AP and VC back then. So let's see if we have any updates here in the comments. Yeah, Gangsters asking about the dinners in London. Ark, your ski. I remember you've been asking yesterday for the graduation gift for your son. I think Patel Philippe and ABC were far off. I guess your son has a Rolex or two. And yeah, I hope that you find the right piece. Thank you very much. Enjoying your story with my lunch. Yes, I think you're talking about the 47101 story. I hope that I didn't put everybody to sleep. Patrick B is here. Hey, Higgy and crew. Hello back to you. Apes is in the house. JPCWC is in the house. And Patel Philippe. Higgy baby, why would we care about AP making the world's second Perpetual Calendar wristwatch 30 years after Patek made the first one? Good question, and there is just one simple reply, because AP's is way, way more pretty. It is such a pretty watch. There is not a single Patek, there is not a single Perpetual Calendar in the world that I would prefer against this one. So you give me that one, you can have my Lange Perpetual Calendar. That is how much I love that watch. In my opinion, this is almost perfection, not the tattoo. Yeah, so yeah, the piece was released in this 1960s. Yeah, but imagine Patek doing a re-edition of this particular watch. That would be fantastic. Daughter is asking, is it true that you're the mystery guest in the London house? So for everybody who is not having the context, Archie Luxury will come to London in June, and I think Jamie Opulence was careless enough to rent a place with 7 bedrooms, and it's we are gonna see a kind of Big Brother in the Archieverse, and there is one mystery guest. I know who it is. Fuck, I'm not gonna tell you who it is. So I'm saying it's not me, but that could be Smokes and Mirrors, because it's probably me. You never know. You will find out. Everybody knows that I'm paranoid of cameras, so that may give you a hint how much I would love to be there, indeed. So CB, I am here too and totally agree with Tan. Perfection is different, but nice second place. CB, you disappoint me because I know that you recognize beautiful pieces. And you disappoint me a little bit. But we all have different opinions, and that's very good. So I can have the AP for myself. Crappy says, it's not me. Don't believe the rumors. I'm not sure. I heard some confirmed news or from a very reliable source that it could be you. So that's all I'm gonna say. So yeah. So anyhow, I'm for the next show, I'm gonna try to find that AP for you, that AP article, because there are some further details. So the first series was only 3, then they changed the series and amended a little bit of the dials. All in total, they made 12. CB, it could be you. Yeah, it could be you. It could be anyone. And I gave on denying because that will put me in a place where I have to confirm them or lie, which I don't want to do. So I gave up doing that. Okay, those are the topics that I prepared for tonight. Patel Philippe is leaving me hanging in the cold, in the dark. So at the moment, I don't have anything else to talk about. I posted the link again, just in case if somebody wants to join me on the panel. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap this baby up and wish you a good evening. And I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Higgins, join mine and Gary's room. Ibsen, I'm not sure if you're coming, but yeah, we will see. Ring, yes, ring, link, ring. Okay, yeah, so that was the Elite Horology for today. Please check out the logs report. I'm pretty sure he will supply you with breaking news. I will try to find another topic in the coming days, and will announce another show on Elite Horology. And I hope that Tanzil and OC and everybody else is able to make it and come join me on the show. So you have a good evening. Best regards to everybody. Enjoy your watches and stay safe. Bye-bye.